Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we'll learn about the output determination in inventory management. In our last video, we learned about the output determination process for purchasing. Now, if you haven't watched the video on output determination in purchasing, then I would recommend you to first watch that video and then watch this one. In the previous video, we already have discussed in detail what is called output, what is the output type, and how output determination happens in SAP MM. So we'll not be repeating all those things in this video. We'll directly see the configuration of output determination in inventory management, and we'll see the SAP demo that how we can generate outputs for material documents. So let's start. So as we discussed in our last video also, the central element in this whole output determination process is this message type. So in case of inventory management also, you have to configure various message types which will be applicable for various scenarios of printing the material document. Mainly, you will be printing material documents for goods receipt and goods issue, which you will be issuing to your internal people. Like if you have created a goods receipt, then you will be issuing the output to your warehouse manager. If you have posted a goods issue, then you will be issuing output of that document to your plant manager. So here also you'll be configuring multiple message types based on various scenarios. Like let's say that you are posting a goods receipt, then a different message type will be applicable. If you are posting a goods issue, then a different message type shall be applicable. Okay, so this central element, that is message type, you have to determine, and you will be determining through this particular configuration here, which you can see on the screen. So first of all, you will have to create condition tables. These condition tables will be containing fields from your material document item. Always remember that for inventory management, you generate output for material document item only. That is, the output shall be generated at item level. So you can see these are some of the standard tables which are used to generate the output for inventory management. You can see this particular table is used to generate output for goods receipt or goods issue slips, and this particular table is used to generate the output for goods receipt labels. Okay, these are standard tables which are used for the standard message types. Okay, then once you have created these condition tables, then you have to maintain these condition tables against access sequences, because if you maintain records against multiple tables, then system has to decide which condition record system has to pick while determining the output. So for that, access sequence shall be there, and this access sequence you will be maintaining against your message type, that is the output type for your particular material document. And since you will have multiple message types based on the particular scenario that you are dealing with, so to maintain all these message types in one particular entity, you have message determination schema, and this message determination schema you will have to maintain against the application for inventory management. So here, since you have a single application that is for inventory management only, hence you will have only one message determination schema available in the system, and it is recommended that you should use the standard message determination schema which is given by SAP for inventory management. This message determination schema will contain multiple message types, and for certain message types you will have something called as requirement routine, and based on those routines only that message type will be triggered by the system. And once you have done this connection, then what you have to do is you have to maintain condition record against a particular message type. If you want to trigger a particular message type in your material document, then based on these combinations of the field of your material document, you will have to maintain the condition record. And once that valid condition record is matched in your particular document, system will automatically determine your output type or message type. And the T code to maintain the condition record is MN21 for creation, MN22 for change, and MN23 for display. And you can see here that when you will be maintaining the condition record, system will give you the list of all the tables which is there in the access sequence which you have maintained in that particular message type, and you will maintain the condition record against any of these tables which will come up on the screen. We'll see in SAP how we do this configuration, then we'll see how we'll maintain the condition record, then we'll post the document and see how output types get determined. Now always remember that for inventory management, we generally use the standard message types and access sequences created in the system, but you can also create your custom condition tables, access sequence, and message type. We'll see how we can create the custom condition table, access sequence, and message type, and how that can be determined in your material document. Okay. So now let's move on to SAP and first see the standard configuration which is there, and then we'll post a material document and see how message types get determined. We'll also see what is the meaning of these fields in your material document, because you can see here you have certain fields based on which SAP has given standard accesses and standard message type. So we'll see what is the meaning of transaction type, print version, and print ID also. So let's move on to SAP now. So to go to the configuration, we'll go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG, materials management, inventory management and physical inventory, output determination. So you can see you have maintain condition tables, maintain access sequences, maintain output types, maintain output determination procedures, and then finally maintain the condition, that is maintain condition record. So now first of all, see this particular link here, that is maintain condition table. So if you execute this, so you have options to create condition table, change the condition table, and display the condition table. So let's go to this display option. And if you take a drop down, you can see these are some of the standard tables provided by SAP for output determination. So we'll focus on this particular table because this is the standard table which will be used for our goods receipt and goods issue slips. Okay, so you can see here you have table number 72, that is for the combination of transaction type, print version, and print ID. So if you double click this and press enter, you can see this particular table contains these three fields, that is transaction or event type, print version, and print item. Now what is the meaning of these three fields? So whenever you will post any material document through any movement type, system has to understand what kind of transaction you are doing. Let's say that you are doing a goods receipt or you're doing a goods issue. So for both these transactions, you have separate transaction types or event types. Then you have this field called print version. Now what is this field? Whenever you will post any material document, you will have three options through which you can print that document. First is called individual slip. Second is individual slip with inspection text. And third is called collective slip. We'll see what all difference is between these three options, but this is an option which comes on the MeGo screen when you post the document, and for all these options your output will change. Okay, we'll see this field when we post the document. And then finally you have a field called print item. Now this is a field which is there in the configuration of the movement type. Since in inventory management we have multiple movement types, so for each movement type a condition record cannot be maintained. So what SAP has given? SAP has given a particular field based on which you can combine multiple movement types, and for every print item entry you can create condition record, and the print program also takes care of this print item and prints the material document based on the movement type that you are posting. We'll see in SAP where all these three fields are lying and how they are captured in your material document and how you can maintain condition record, and we'll see what different goods issue and goods receipt slips are generated by the system. So this particular table is very important. We'll be discussing the standard configuration through this particular table only. So we'll go back. Now we'll go to the access sequence. So we'll go to maintain access sequences. And you can see the table that we discussed is there in this particular access sequence. So you have 0003 for transaction type, print version, and print indicator. If you select this access sequence and double click on accesses, you have this particular table here, the table number 72. If you select this table and double click on fields, you can see these three fields are there, that is transaction event type, print version, and print item. So now let's go back. So we have seen the condition table and the access sequence. Now let's go to this maintain output types. So you can see these are the standard output types which have been provided by SAP. In this video, we'll be discussing in detail on these 6 output types, that is goods issue note version 1, 2 and 3, and goods receipt note version 1, 2 and 3. So you have WA01, WA02 and WA03, and you have WE01, WE02 and WE03. These 6 are the standard output types which are used for goods issue and goods receipt. We'll see what is there in these output types and how we can generate each of these output types. So to see the details of any of these output type, you can simply double click here, and you can see for output type WA01, the access sequence is 0003. That is the combination of transaction type, print version, and print indicator. And then you have all these configurations that we already have discussed in our previous video. You have access to conditions. This checkbox will actually allow this particular output type to be accessed through your condition record. Then this multiple issuing is whether system will allow you to repeat the output or not. And this you can see for inventory management, your output type shall be partner independent. So generally for inventory management, the output types are partner independent output. Okay. Then you have default values. So you have dispatch time here and transmission medium. So generally the transmission medium is taken as print so that you can print the goods receipt and goods issue slips. Then this dispatch time is same as that of purchasing. You have 1 and 2 for periodic processing through batch job. Then 3 is to send with application own transaction. That is, the application here is the inventory management and its own transaction code is MB90. Okay, so to print a particular material document, you have T code MB90. Then 4 is send immediately when saving the application. That means when you will post the material document, the output will get determined and will be processed simultaneously. That is, the output will be immediately processed by the system when you save the application, that is when you post the material document. Then if you go to this time tab, you can disallow any of these processing time. Then if you go to the print tab, you can see here the print parameter is maintained as user parameters. So whatever default printer you maintain against your user parameter, that is if you go to this system and if you go to user profile and user data, and here if you go to the defaults tab, you can maintain the output device here. So whatever output device you maintain here, system will default against the output type. So here you can see you have print parameter as user parameters. Then as we discussed in the output determination process video for purchasing also, for any output type, the central data which is maintained is there in the processing routines. If you double click here, you have a print program, you have a form routine and a form. So basically this print program and form routine will take out data from your material document, and this form will be responsible to show that data in a particular layout. So we have all these standard print programs, form routine and form in the standard output type. So from here system will take the print program, form routine and the form to generate the output. Okay, so now let's go back. So similarly, you can verify the configuration of other output types also, like WA02, WA03 and WE01, 02 and 03. All will have the same access sequence. So we'll be maintaining the condition record for these output types in the similar way. Okay, so we have seen the output types. Now let's go back. And then finally you can see you have maintained output determination procedure. Now since here we have only one application, that is for inventory management, so SAP has given the standard output determination procedure. If you double click on the conditions procedure here, you can see this ME0001 is the standard procedure which has been assigned to application ME, which is for inventory management. If you take a drop down, you can see ME is for inventory management. So for application ME and usage B, that is for output, you can see we have this standard output determination procedure. And if you select this procedure and double click on control data, you can see here you can maintain all these output types or message types. So you can see all these standard message types have been maintained here, and against certain message types you have this requirement also updated. So you can see this GR Note version 3 and GI Note version 3 have this requirement 173. So now what is this version 3? As we discussed, the version 3 corresponds to collective slip. Now as we have discussed that output can only be generated at item level of material document. But let's say that you want to generate a collective slip, that is a slip which represents the whole material document and not any single line item. So in that case, what system will do? System will only generate output against the first line item of your material document. So this requirement basically tells the system that if you are selecting this particular output type, you only have to generate the output for the first line item of the material document. So in this way, you can see this requirement basically tells the system that how the message type is to be processed. If you take a drop down here, 173 is for GRGI collective slip. And if you select this and click on this icon, you can check the code also which is behind this particular requirement. Okay. So now let's go back. So now we have seen the output determination procedure. Now once we have done this whole configuration, then we have to maintain the condition record. And you can see here the link to maintaining the condition record is here, that is maintain conditions. If you execute this, you have create condition record, change condition record, and display condition record. If you double click on create condition, you can see the T code which is given by the system is MN21. You can see here the transaction code is MN21, and here you have to enter the output type against which you want to maintain the condition record. So what we have discussed, we'll be seeing the output types goods receipt and goods issue slips, that is version 1, 2 and 3 for goods receipt and goods issue slips. So if you take a drop down, you can see you have WA01, WA02 and WA03 for goods issue, and WE01, WE02 and WE03 for goods receipt. Now let's select any one of these output types. So we'll select WE01 and we'll press enter. So you can see here you have a field called transaction or event type, then a print version and a print item. Now let's see what all these three fields are there. So whenever you post any goods receipt or any goods issue, system first determines what kind of transaction has happened and updates a field in your material document. Now what we'll do, let's first post a goods receipt and see where from these three fields are coming in that particular material document. So we'll go to T code ME21N. Let's enter our vendor. We'll enter the company code. Let's enter a material code. Let's enter some quantity here. And let's enter our plant. And let's save this purchase order. So you can see our purchase order is saved. Now let's create a goods receipt. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods receipt, purchase order, and here we'll enter our PO number and we'll press enter. Now we'll click on item OK and we'll enter storage location here and we'll click on post. So you can see we have posted the goods receipt. Now let's display this document. Now that we have posted this document, what we have to do, we have to find these three fields so that we can generate our output. You can see we have to find the transaction or event type for this material document, the print version and the print item. So first of all, let's see how we can find this transaction or event type. So to do that, we'll go to report MB51. So we'll open MB51 here. We'll enter the material code and the plant, and let's enter the posting date. And we'll execute. So you can see we have posted this particular material document. Now let's click on this particular icon to get this in the ALV format. And now let's click on this icon to change the layout. And in the column set, we can go to the transaction or event type here. You can see this particular field is here, transaction event type. We'll send it left. So you can see here for movement type 101, the transaction or event type is WE. Okay, so we have found this field against this particular material document, that is the transaction or event type is WE here. Now let's see what is the print item. So as we have discussed in our previous video on movement type configuration, for certain movement types, we enter a field called print item in the configuration of the movement type. Let's see the configuration of movement type 101. So we'll go to T code OMJJ. We'll select movement type here and we'll enter movement type 101. We'll press enter. And here you can see this field is for print item. If you take a drop down, this number 1 is for material document printout. So when you are maintaining the condition record for the output type, you can see here you have this field called print item. This particular print item field is configured against the movement type. Now since we have posted movement type 101 in our document, so our print item is 1 here. And then finally, what is this print version? So as we discussed earlier, we have three options available in the system. You can print a material document as an individual slip, or as individual slip with inspection text, or as a collective slip. Okay, if you take a drop down here, you can see here one is for individual slip, two is for individual slip with inspection text, and three is for collective slip. But where do we tell the system what kind of slip we are going to print? That is, whether we are printing the individual slip, or individual slip with inspection text, or a collective slip. So where we'll be telling the system this particular field, we will be entering in the Migo screen itself. Whenever you will be triggering the printout, you will have to select this particular field in the Migo screen. So let's go to the Migo screen and see where we can select this field. So if you go to display material document, you can see here this field is available here. You can see this is for print version of goods receipt or goods issue slip. So this is the third field which you need to maintain against the condition record, so that system is able to determine the output. So you can see here you have all these three fields available here, that is individual slip with inspection text, and collective slip. So depending upon what type of slip or what type of goods receipt or goods issue note you want to generate in the system, you have to select that particular option in the Migo screen itself. But you can see in the description of the output type also you have this particular data available here. You can see this particular output type has a description of GR note version 1. If you go to the configuration, you can see here this WE01 is for GR Note version 1. So whenever you are maintaining the condition record for this particular output type, you have to enter the values for the condition record accordingly, so that the correct values are maintained against this particular output type. So this particular output type tells you that you have to maintain condition record for goods receipt, and you have to maintain the condition record for version 1. Okay, so you have to take care when you are maintaining the condition record. So whenever you are maintaining for WE01, the transaction type that you have to enter should be WE, and the print version should be 1 there. Okay, so we'll take care of this while maintaining the condition record. So let's go back to that screen. So currently we are maintaining for WE01. If you go back, you can see we were maintaining condition record for WE01. So we have to take care that the transaction type should be entered as WE, and the print version should be entered as 1, so that the description of this particular output type should match with whatever we have maintained in the condition record. So if we press enter, we have to enter transaction or event type as WE, print version as 1 here, and print indicator also as 1 here. Now where from this field is coming? This field is coming from the configuration of the movement type 101. You can see here for movement type 101 your print item field is updated to 1 here. So once we maintain this condition record, then system will trigger the correct output type for our material document. So now let's enter this condition record. So we'll press enter. And you can see these fields are defaulted from the configuration of your output type. If you go to the configuration again, and if you double click on WE01, if you go to default values, you can see dispatch time is 1, that is sent with periodically scheduled job, and transmission medium is also 1, that is print output. And these two fields are defaulted here when we were maintaining the condition record. So what we'll do, we'll keep the transmission medium as print only. We'll change this date to 3 here, that is send with application on transaction. If we select 3 here, system will keep that particular output type in unprocessed state, and then we can run the T-code MB90 to process the output. Okay, so now let's select this line here, and we'll click on communication, and here we'll have to enter the output device. Okay, so we'll enter it here, and we'll save this particular condition record. So now what we have done, we have created a condition record for transaction type WE, print item 1, and print version 1. Now we'll go to our material document display screen here. and the transaction type is WE for this document. The print item is 1 as per the movement type, and the print version will select as 1 here. And to trigger this output determination, you have to select this particular checkbox here. You can see print via output control. If you select this checkbox, you can see system gives you an information that outputs have been saved. So we'll click on OK, and you can see a new tab will appear in the item detail section, and the name of this tab is output. If you go to this particular tab, you can see system has determined the output, and to see those output types, you have to click on this particular button here, and you can see system has determined this output type WE01, and this is determined through the combination of three fields, that is transaction type WE, print item 1, and print version 1. Okay, now if you want to see how this particular output type is determined, then you can navigate to go to and click on determination analysis, and you can see this is the output determination procedure, and all these are the output types which have been maintained against this particular output determination procedure. And you can see the status of all these output types. You can see for this particular WE01, system tells you that output has been found, and for all other message types or output types, system either tells you that the output was not found because condition record was not maintained, or the output was ignored because the particular requirement has not been fulfilled. So you can see system tells that WE01 was found. And if you go to WE01 here, you can see this particular access is there. If you expand this and if you click on this, you can see this particular combination has been found in the document, that is transaction type WE, print version 1, and print item 1. Now let's see how this print item fields influences your output. So what we'll do is we'll post a return delivery against this particular GR and then see how system determines a new output. Okay, so when we'll be posting the return delivery for this document, system will determine movement type 122. So let's first see the configuration of 122, that what print item has been maintained against that particular movement type. So we'll go to OMJJ screen again and we'll go back. Let's again enter OMJJ here. We'll enter movement type 122. And you can see here, this time the print item field is updated as 2. If you take a drop down, 2 is for return delivery. So what we'll have to do, once we post this particular return delivery, we will have to maintain the condition record with print item 2. And then we'll see how outputs are determined and what changes happen in that particular output. Okay. So first of all, let's post a return delivery. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select return delivery here and we'll enter this 101 document. We'll press enter. And you can see if you go to where tab, you have movement type 122. Let's enter a reason for movement. We'll click on item OK and let's post this document. Now let's display this document. So now what we have done, we have posted movement type 122, but we haven't maintained the condition record for this particular movement type. Why? Because for movement type 122, the print item field is updated as 2 in the configuration. If you go to the configuration again, you can see this print item is 2 here. So this time we have to maintain condition record for our output type with this particular field. So let's do that. So again, we'll go to T code MN21 and we have this output type WE01. We'll press enter. We have transaction type WE. We'll select print version as 1 only. And this time we'll select print item as 2 here. That is for return delivery. We'll select transmission time as 3 here. And we'll enter a printer here. And we'll save this condition record. So now what we have done, we have saved the condition record for return delivery also. Now let's trigger this output type in our return delivery material document. So we'll again go to that document. You can see we have movement type 122, and to trigger the outputs, we'll have to select this checkbox. And you can see system tells you that outputs have been saved. Now we'll go to this output tab, and if you click on display outputs, you can see again WE01 has been determined by the system. And if you want to see how this determination happened, you can navigate to go to and then click on determination analysis. And you can see this time also WE01 has been found, that is the condition record is there. And if you want to see the condition record, then you can expand this. And if you click here, you can see this time the print item is 2, print version is 1, and transaction type is WE. Now let's see what is the difference between the output of these two documents, that is the GR document and the return delivery document. So we'll go back. And if you want to see the print preview, you can go to edit and estimate here. And you can see this is how system has generated the return delivery slip. You can see here system tells you that this is a return delivery slip. This is the material document number and material document item. This is the GR date, then current date, then you have plant, description of the plant, vendor code, purchase order number and item number, then purchase group, then you have detail of the material here, and you have storage location here, and then you have this reason code that you selected while posting this return delivery. So system is telling you that this was done because of the poor quality. Okay, and in this way system generates you the output for return delivery. Now let's see the output for your goods receipt document. So we'll go to this goods receipt document here. If you go back, and again if you go to edit and estimate, you can see this is the GR document. And how you can identify? You can see system tells you that this is goods receipt slip. So we use the same output type, but since our print item was different, that is for 101 the print item was 1, and for 122 the print item was 2, system has generated two different outputs. So in the print program, SAP has taken care of all the movement types based on the print item, that how system will generate all these output types. So you can see here this is for goods receipt slip, and you have all these information available against that material document. So we have generated the output for goods receipt and return delivery. And if you want to process this output, since we had selected the transmission time is 3, that is processing output through application's own transaction. If you select this and click on further data, you can see we had selected dispatch time is 3 here. So how we can process this output? So to process this output, we have to go to T code MB90. So we'll go to T code MB90, and we have to enter the material document number here. So we'll go to document display, and you can see this is the 101 document. So we'll enter this document number here, and you can see the processing mode is 1, which stands for first processing. So since we had selected dispatch time is 3 there, so system has not processed the output automatically. We will have to process the output through T code MB90, and you can see system will give you this particular output type which has been generated against our material document. And to process this output, you have to select it here, and you can execute this here. Or if you want to see the print preview, then you can click on this icon here, and system will show you the same preview that we saw earlier. Okay, so let's go back. And if we execute, you can see this particular output has been processed. And again, if you go to the material document, and let's again display that document. And if you go to this output tab and click on display outputs, you can see this time system shows you that this output type was successfully processed. Okay, so in the same way, you can process the output of the return delivery also. If you select the dispatch time is 4, then the moment you generate the output, system will process the output immediately. Okay, now let's see how we can generate different outputs for this individual slip with inspection text and collective slip. Now this individual slip with inspection text basically will give output in the same format as there in the individual slip, but here the inspection text which is there in the material master will also get printed. Now what we'll do is we'll enter the inspection text in our current material code, and then we'll post a goods receipt and see how we can generate this particular output. So we'll go to MM02, and we have this material code. We'll press enter. We'll go to basic data 1, and if you go to additional data, you have this particular tab here for inspection text. Now let's enter some details here. So we'll enter inspection text for the material, Now in this particular field, you have to enter what are the inspection instructions for that material, or what are the steps that have to be followed for inspection of this material. So this particular field basically contains the inspection details of that material. So we have entered this text here. Let's save this material. Now we'll go to the same PO again, and let's create a new item here, and we'll save this PO. And now let's create GR for this particular new item. So we'll go to MyGo again. We'll select goods receipt. We'll enter this PO number and item 20 here. We'll press enter. We'll enter the storage location and we'll click on post. We'll select display. So now what we have done, we have posted the material document which has inspection text maintained in the material master, and we want to generate output for GR slip with inspection text. So this time we have to maintain condition record for print version 2 here. You can see here the print version is 2. We'll go to MN21, and this time we will select output type as WE02, that is for GR note version 2. And as I have told you, for every output type, you have to enter the appropriate data in the condition record. So our transaction type is WE only, but our print version has to be selected as 2 here. So always you have to take care that what data you are entering while maintaining the condition record for that particular output type. Since we are creating condition record for GR slip version 2, so we have to enter print version as 2 in the condition record here. Then we'll enter print item as 1 here. We'll change this transmission time to 3 here. Let's enter a printer and we'll save this condition record. Okay, so now we have saved the condition record, but how we can trigger this print version in the MeGo screen? So let's go to the MeGo screen again. And to generate the individual slip with inspection text, we have to first select this particular field as 2 here. You can see we have selected individual slip with inspection text, and then we have to click on this particular checkbox. And you can see system tells me that outputs are saved. If we select OK and go to this particular tab, you can see here we have outputs getting determined. If we click on this button, you can see this time WE02 has been determined by the system because we maintain the correct condition record for print version 2 here. Okay, so if you navigate to go to determination analysis, you can see here for WE02 this time the output has been found. That is for print version 2 you have maintained the output. If you go to WE02 here, you can see this particular condition record was entered and matched in our current material document. This print version we manually selected on the MeGo screen. If you go back, you can see we selected this particular field manually. And in the same way through MB90, you can process this output. Now, if you want to see the display of this particular output, then you can select edit and click on estimate. And you can see this time on this particular GR slip, system has printed this inspection text. This inspection text we entered in our material master. Let's see the material master. So we'll go to MM03. And if you press enter, go to basic data 1. If you go to additional data and inspection text, you can see we had entered this material text against this material code. And when we generated output for this GR for this material code and selected print version as 2, system has printed with this particular inspection text here. You can see here you have inspection text for material printed. So whatever inspection text you will maintain in the material master will get printed on your GR slip when you select print version 2 and you maintain the condition record correctly. Now let's see what is the significance of this collective slip here. So as we discussed earlier, system always determines output for each material document item individually. If you have multiple line items in your material document, system will determine output for each of those line items. Now if you process the output, system will generate individual slip for each material document item. But let's say that you want to generate a collective slip for the whole material document. Then what system will do, if you select this option, then system will generate output against the first line item only, and in that print system will show the header data of the material document. So what we'll do is, first we'll create material document containing multiple line items, and we'll see how outputs are getting determined. Okay, so again we'll go to our same purchase order. So we'll go to ME22N and we'll enter a new line item here. We'll enter the details and let's save this PO. We'll increase the quantity here. And now let's create a goods receipt for these two line items and see how system determines the output. So we'll select this purchase order number and we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods receipt, purchase order. We'll enter this PO number here and we'll enter item number 20 first. And then we'll enter item number 30. We'll select both these items. We'll enter the storage location. And let's create for some partial quantity here. And we'll click on post. Now let's select display here. And let's select one here. So we are printing individual slip for both these items. So let's click on this checkbox here. And you can see system has generated output for both these lines. So now if you go to this detailed data, you can see, if you go to this output tab, you can see system has generated output for line item 1 and 2 individually. So if you select this individual slip or individual slip with inspection text, system will always generate output for each line item individually. So if you have multiple items in your material document, then system will generate output for each line item. If you go to item, click on display output, and if you go to the estimate, you can see this is the goods receipt slip for item number 1, that is material 870. If you go back and if you select paper cup here, click on display outputs and go to edit and estimate, you can see this particular goods receipt slip is for paper cup. So you have individual GR slips getting generated by the system for each of the line item of your material document. Okay, now let's see how we can generate a collective slip for the same case. Okay, so first what we'll have to do is we will have to maintain condition record against the appropriate output type which is there for version 3, that is for collective slip. So let's first do that. So again we'll go to MN21 and this time we have to select output type as WE03, that is for GR note version 3. Okay, we'll enter transaction type as WE and we have to enter print version as 3 here, that is for collective slip, and we have to enter print indicator as 1 for movement type 101. We'll change this transmission time here. Let's enter the printer and we'll save this condition record. Now what we'll do is we'll again post a goods receipt and this time let's generate the output type for collective slip. So we'll go to MyGo again. We'll click on this icon. We'll select goods receipt and again we'll enter item number 20 and 30 here. We'll again select these two items. Let's enter the storage location. Now this time what we'll do is we'll select this collective slip here. We'll click on this particular checkbox and then we'll post this document. So let's post this document. Now let's display this document and let's press enter. And now if you go to the detailed data, You can see for item 1 the output has been generated. So what we did this time, we selected this collective slip here, selected this checkbox and then posted this document. So system posted the document and then did this output determination also during posting this document. Okay, so now you can see for item 1 you have this output generated. But if you go to item 2, you can see no output exists for this item. So if you go to this item 1 and click on display outputs, you can see this WE03 has been determined by the system. And why this has happened? Because we have maintained the condition records accordingly. And if you want to see the print preview, you can go to edit and estimate, and you can see system has generated a collective slip containing all the line items of this particular material document. So this is a collective slip which will show you all the line items. So earlier when we selected individual slip and then generated the output, system generated individual slips for each of the material document items. This time, since we selected collective slip, system determined output for line item 1 only, and in that particular output, system is showing you all the line items of your material document. So this is how you can maintain condition record for collective slip and then you can generate the output. Okay, now why system determined output for line item 1 only? This happened because in our output determination procedure, we have maintained a requirement against this particular message type. So let's see that configuration. So again, if you go to that configuration screen, you can see we have this maintain output determination procedure. If you select this, if you go to the procedure, select this procedure, double click on control data. If we go to our output type WE03, you can see for WE03 the requirement that has been maintained is 173, and because of this requirement system will only determine output for your first line item of your material document. Okay, so this is the significance of this requirement which we enter against the output type in the output determination procedure. Now we have seen all these output for goods receipt. Let's post a goods issue also and see one of these output types which is available for goods issue slip. Okay, so again we'll go to my go, we'll select goods issue, other, we'll enter movement type as 201, we'll enter material code 870 here, we'll enter some quantity, we'll enter the plant, storage location, we'll enter the cost center, and we'll post this goods issue. So you can see we have posted the goods issue. Now let's display this document and let's try to generate the output for this particular material document. So we'll click on this checkbox and you can see system gives me an error that system could not create any outputs. Now why this has happened? Because we have not maintained the condition record for this particular activity, that is goods issue. So let's first maintain the condition record and then we'll come back to this screen and then we'll try to generate the output. So we'll go to MN21 and for goods issue, what would be the output type? So we'll take a drop down and you can see for goods issue, we have three output types, that is WA01, WA02 and WA03. These are for version 1, 2 and 3. We already have discussed what are these three versions. This is for individual slip. This is for individual slip with inspection text and this is for collective slip. So we'll maintain condition record for individual slip and we'll press enter. So you can see first what we'll have to do is we will have to enter the transaction or event type. Now what would be the transaction or event type for goods issue? If you take a drop down, you can see for goods issue, transfer, posting and other goods movement, we have transaction type as WA. Now we can verify this also against the material document. So this time what we'll do, we'll verify this through a table. So we'll go to SE16N. And to go to the material document header table, we can go to MKPF and let's enter this material document number. So we'll copy this document and we'll enter this in this table and let's execute. So you can see the transaction type for this particular material document is WA, that is for goods issue. You can see here WA is for goods issue. So we have to maintain the condition record with transaction or event type as WA. So we'll enter WA here. And what is the print version? The print version is 1, that is individual slip, because we are maintaining condition record for WA01. And to find out the print item, let's see the configuration of movement type 201. So we'll go to OMJJ and we'll enter movement type 201 and we'll press enter, and you can see the print item is entered as 1 here. So we'll enter 1 in the condition record. So we'll enter 1 here. We'll change the transmission time to 3. We'll select this line, click on communication, and we'll enter the printer here. And let's save this particular condition record. Now let's again trigger the output for our goods issue material document. So we'll again go to the Migo screen. And here let's click on this checkbox. And now you can see system tells you that outputs have been saved. If we click OK and then go to this output tab, you can see you have outputs getting determined. And if we click on this button, you can see we have WA01 getting determined for this goods issue material document. And if you want to see the print preview, then you can go to edit and estimate. So you can see here, this is the print preview of the goods issue slip. You have the material document number and item number here, then the posting date, then the plant code, material, the quantity that has been issued, the storage location, and the cost center against which this material was issued. So this is the individual slip that we have generated for this particular goods issue document. So in this way, you can maintain condition record for other two output types also, that is WA02 and WA03, and then you can generate outputs for those two message types also. Okay, so in this way, we saw how we can generate goods issue slip also by maintaining condition record against the appropriate output type. Now let's create our own custom configuration. That is, we'll create our own custom condition table, access sequence, and output type. And we'll see how we can trigger our own custom output type in the material document. So we'll go to this configuration. We'll select this maintain condition tables. We'll select create condition table. Let's enter table number is 902 here and let's press enter. And this time what we'll do is we'll create a condition table for the combination of material code, plant and movement type. So we'll select movement type here, plant here and material. So we have selected movement type, plant and material code. Let's click on this icon here and we'll click on local object. And now we have saved this table. Now let's go back and we'll go to maintain access sequence. We'll select any of these accesses and we'll click on copy. We'll enter key as Z001 and here we'll enter description as material, plant and movement type. We'll press enter. We'll click on copy all. Then we'll select this and click on accesses. And then let's delete this table. And let's enter our new table in this access sequence. So we'll enter 902 here. We'll press enter. We'll enter access number 10 and enter table number 902 here. And if we select this and double click on fields, you can see system gives you all these three fields which are there in your condition table. Okay, so now let's save this access sequence. Now let's go back and then we'll go to maintain output types. Let's go to change mode and we'll select WE01 and we'll click on copy here and let's enter ZE01 here as the key. We'll click on copy all and again we'll open this output type and we'll change this access sequence to our new access sequence that we have created just now, that is Z001, and let's press enter and let's save this output type. So now we are not changing any details, we are just changing the access sequence and we'll see how we can determine this output in our material document. But in real business scenario, if you want to change the print details, then you have to go to this processing routine and enter your own program form routine and form here. Okay, so now let's save this output type. And now finally, let's go to this maintain output determination procedure. We'll go to this conditions procedure We'll select this procedure, double click on control data, and here we'll maintain our new output type. Okay. So we'll click on new entries. We'll enter the step here, and here we'll enter that output type which we created just now. So we have ZE01, and we'll save this output determination procedure. So now we have done our configuration. Now let's maintain the condition record against this particular output type. So we'll go to maintain conditions. We'll go to create condition, and we'll enter ZE01 here. And if we press enter, you can see system gives me the combination of those three fields, that is movement type, plant and material code. Okay, so we'll enter our movement type, and we have our plant entered here. Let's enter our material code here, and we'll change this particular entry to 4 here this time. So what we are going to do is, when we'll be posting the material document, system will determine the output and will process the output also immediately. Okay, now let's select this, and we'll click on communication, and let's enter the printer here, and let's save this condition record. So now what we have done, we have saved the condition record for our material, plant and movement type combination. Now let's post a goods receipt for this combination and see how our new output type is determined by the system. So we'll again change that purchase order, and we'll increase some quantity here, and let's save this PO, and then we'll create goods receipt against item 20. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods receipt, purchase order. We'll enter this PO number here. We'll enter item 20 here, and we'll enter the storage location, and we'll select individual slip here. We'll click on item OK, and we'll post this document. Now let's display this document. So you can see system has determined the outputs. So let's go to this tab here, and if we click on display outputs, now you can see this time system has determined two output types, that is WE01 and our new output type ZE01 that we have configured just now. And if you want to see the determination analysis, then you have to go to this particular link here, determination analysis. And you can see for ZE01, the output has been found, that is we had maintained the condition record. And for WE01 also the output has been found. Because we had not removed the condition record against this output type, so system determined this output type based on the combination of transaction type, print item and print version. And for this output type, system determined the condition record through our material code, movement type and plant combination. If you expand this ZE01, and if you click here, you can see system determined the condition record through combination of these three fields, that is movement type 101, plant M001 and this particular material code. We had maintained condition record against this combination, and also system determined this particular output type through this particular combination. Okay, and one more thing you can see here, if you go back, you can see system process this particular output type automatically. And why this happened? Because we entered the transmission time as 4 against the condition record for this particular output type, and hence system immediately processed this output when we posted this material document. Now let's see how we can add an output type manually in a material document. Let's say that you have generated the output for individual slip. Now you want to generate output for your collective slip also, or your individual slip with inspection text. So how you can add the output type manually in the material document? Let's see that. So to add the output type manually, you have to first select the change option here, and you have to enter the material document, press enter, go to this output tab, click on display outputs, and now you can see you will get this particular table in editable format, and you can enter the output type manually, provided that the output type should be maintained in the output determination procedure. So if you take a drop down also, system will show all the output types which have been entered in the output determination procedure. Okay, so now let's say that we want to generate a output for individual slip with inspection text. So for that, what is the output type? The output type is WE02. And if you press enter, let's enter the language here, and you can see this particular output type has been added. If you select this and click on further data, you can enter the dispatch time manually here. So let's select send with application on transaction, and let's go back. And if you select this and click on communication method, you have to enter the printer manually here. And then let's go back and then save this particular document, and then we'll have to post this document. So now what we have done, we have entered a output type manually against this particular material document. Now let's again display this document. And if you go to output, click on display output. Now you have this output type also maintained against this material document. And if you want to see the print preview, then you can go to this edit and click on estimate, and you can see this is the individual slip with the inspection text. Okay. And if you want to process this output, then you can go to MB90. So we'll select this material document and we'll go to MB90 and we'll execute. So you can see this WE02 is for individual slip with inspection text. We'll select this and we'll execute, and you can see this particular output has been processed. Now let's see how you can repeat an output against a material document. So to do that, what you have to do in the same MB90 screen, you have to select the processing mode as 2 here, that is repeat processing. So if you select 2 here, system will show you all the output types which have been processed. So if you execute this, you can see these two output types were executed earlier. This particular output type was executed immediately when we saved the document, and this particular output type we just now processed. Now to repeat process it, you have to simply select this and execute this particular output type. So you can see you have repeat outputted this particular message type. Okay. So in this way, we have discussed the whole output determination procedure for inventory management. We have seen what all standard output types are given by the system, what is the meaning of transaction type, print item and print version, and how you have to maintain the condition record for each of the combination, how you have to select the print version in the Migo screen, and how you have to see what print item configuration is maintained against the movement type. Okay. And we also saw how you can create your own custom condition table, access sequence, and output type. We also saw how you can add an output type manually in a particular material document. And we saw how we can repeat process an already processed output. Okay, so I hope that you've understood this concept, and I hope that you've liked this video. If you like my videos, then please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting more videos on SAP MM module. So see you in the next video with another topic on SAP MM. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks a lot.